Hey, true believers. Chris Mack coming at you with an action figure that I initially had no interest in getting because I wasn't super interested in the line, but then I saw this one and I had to have it. We are going over the McFarlane Toys DC Superpowers, the Batman Who Laughs. And if you guys want to pick this figure up, it's exclusively Walmart from what I understand, and I see at the time of this recording it is available on their website. But as I always say, please first and foremost support your local comic shop and see if they have any of these in stock. Now, with that said, I love that they keep the design of the old 80s Superpowers look, even though McFarlane Toys is all up in here where Kenner is supposed to be. Love the Batman Who Laughs logo there. And of course, with the blister packages, nothing there on that side, nothing there, and of course, nothing on the bottom. You come around to the back, and I'll get a close-up of the figures from the wave, as well as this read-up, and then, of course, you still get the cool Batman Who Laughs logo. Superpowers there. Come back around to the front to where we look at the figure. Now, with that said, let's see if this thing has anything to offer once we get it out of the packaging. Now, this wave from McFarlane is an homage to the original Kenner Superpower action line from the 80s. If you weren't around during that magical era, in 1984, DC Comics relicensed their characters to Kenner away from Mego. The name of the line was the Superpowers Collection. And I think 3 waves came out, which kind of made it a milestone at the time. And the name of the line came from Kenner adding mechanisms within the figures that would trigger an action when the figure's legs or their arms were squeezed, so you get that punching or kicking action, emphasizing each character's individual superpower. Sadly, though, Kenner didn't stick around much longer. It was around 2000 that Hasbro bought them out and eventually shuttered their doors. But the 80s, oh man, those figures were the bee's knees. I always wanted the Batmobile, but my parents never got it from me. Heartbroken kid. Now to talk about the figure in and of itself, during the 2019 The Batman Who Laughs limited series, this evil Batman returns to Gotham, drawing in alternate universe versions of Bruce Wayne's to this Earth Zero as a plot to turn this Earth into a living hell. I mean, even our Joker shoots himself, releasing the nanotoxin in his heart, telling our Batman the only way you'll beat him is to become him. It's a dark, twisted read that pushes the Dark Knights to his limits, and it also introduced the Grim Knight. I highly recommend you check it out either in the single floppies or collected trade. Now, as for this superpower figure, the paint apps, as you can see, are not too bad. I love all that matte black, has a nice sheen to it, and of course each Batman Who Laughs that we get has that lovely nth metal mask that just gives that Hellraiser look to it. Bright red lipstick with the almost Batman the Animated Series Joker smile there. The grayish white skin adds to the nightmare look. The metal looks good, painted on there, nice and sheen. Love how he had that militaristic look on his uniform. The horns are nice and pointy. But the rest of it after that, I mean, we kind of get this in the back, which is part of the uniform, but looks kind of weird. And this is one thing that I am going to say that when this line came out, I was like, oh, that's cool. But Kenner, unlike McFarlane, the Kenner capes were cloth. Obviously, 80s, they weren't bendy wire, but they were cloth. So when I saw these released, I looked long and hard at them, and I went, are you serious? Even on these, we're going to get soft plastic instead of cloth? Come on, Todd, work with us just a little bit. And the one thing about this figure, too, that I wish they would have done is on the feet. It's like they just gave him like little pilgrim booty shoes. When we got the big figure, this 7-inch figure, we got the paramilitary boots, and I wish they would have kept that mold. But I'm sure that they did this to save cost on production of this line. So it is what it is. So that's the paint apps, relatively simplistic. Same for the articulation. So let's back up just a little bit so you guys can see it. You ready? Because, yeah, this is it. And careful when you're turning this head. These spikes are fracking pointing. It hurts. Oh, does it hurt? Owie, owie. So his head can only turn side to side. There is no head knocker action like you would with the normal figures. 360 spin on the arm. That's it. If you weren't around during the 80s, this was the range that we got. No bicep swivels, no elbow joint. Can't bend the legs out. You can only do that. And then, oh no, wait, the 80s they did have the knee. I always forget. And then a single jointed knee. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's the pain apps and the articulation. In a nutshell, not a whole lot to go over. It was just kind of a simplistic figure. And this is one thing that really chaps my hide. I was kind of secretly hoping that when I saw, the superpowers line, I was hoping that Todd would have kept, the squeezing or the arm action or something. No, there is nothing. I mean, heck, I still have my superpowers: Batman, Robin, Penguin, Lex Luthor, and Green Lantern, and a few others. And even though I played the hell out of them, I squeezed their legs and they could still the arm still kind of, not as much as it used to, where, it used to be like a kapow, but that's what happens when you're a kid running his figures through the bath and the dirt and everything else. But I was just hoping for some sort of mechanics on these to make these shine. But yeah, no, nothing. That's it. Breaks my heart. But nonetheless, I primarily just bought this figure so that I could bring him into my office and put him on my desk, because I'm not going to put my collectible version, the big 7-inch one that came out. So I was like, well, let me get something that's a tiny nightmare that I could put on my office desk. So for what it is, or if you're a nostalgic collector, this is going to definitely be up your alley. As I was setting up this scene, I kept thinking of Austin Powers with Dr. Evil saying, "I shall call him Mini-Me." Because look at this, these two Batman Who Laughs. This one I think is only like 5 inches compared to the 7-inch big sucker, and maybe even 4 inches tops. I'm not going to get the tape measure out. But nonetheless, I'm happy that I have it. I highly 100% prefer this one because this thing looks like it just jumped right out of the comic book, even with its early articulation issues. This one, I mean, if you bring it to your office or, put it in your home studio or study, whatever, you at least have a nice little tiny tear to help enhance the room. So with that said, guys, I wish there was more to it. I wish that there was a superpower. I mean, even like a stabbing motion with his hands, since, crazy Batman. That's just me. If you've enjoyed what you've seen of this figure, please, first and foremost, as I said, support your local comic shop. If not, at the time of this recording, like I said at the beginning of the review, is available at Walmart. And if you have enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you won't mind hitting that fancy little laugh bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with you all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below, or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. Photo slideshow coming up next, and I hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.